This is Gagajoy, Gagajoy's Cooking. Today we're going to be making Virginia Brunswick stew. It's a familiar stew to all of us, and with the weather that it is, it's a wonderful time to fix it. In my pot, I have 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm adding 3 large onions, and I mean large onions. It's really the base of, I think, of Brunswick stew. I think we all have eaten Brunswick stew or made it in our life. So my son is always saying, "What's the history of this product, your recipe, Mama?" And I said, I don't usually know, or sometimes I do. But this time I thought I'm going to be ahead of myself and look it up, and it was very interesting. Undoubtedly, Brunswick stew means a whole lot to a lot of people in the South, because Virginia, the Carolinas, and Georgia, they won't claim to it. Georgia even has a statue to Brunswick, and especially during football season. Brunswick stew is normally made around Christmas time, and a lot of people make it in cauldrons outside like they do apple butter. They make it, it's also in some places, it's considered Christmas dinner. And it makes sense to me because they put it in these big pots. They make this huge pot of Brunswick stew, and when they have family that comes in during the day, someone's not always having to jump up and feed them, but it's already there. They know that big pot of Brunswick stew and hard bread or cornbread is on the side. It makes it easier for whoever's home they're visiting. Right now I've got all these onions, and I'm just going to let them cook down for a while. It looks like it's quite a bit of stuff, and it is, but it's very attainable things. Brunswick stew originally started at this time of year to get rid of leftovers like from Christmas and Thanksgiving. And actually, this is my turkey from Thanksgiving. This is my beef from Christmas. And I did not have the barbecued pork, so I just bought a little jar of it, and this too. You have a half a cup of ketchup, 2 cups of tomatoes of your choice. I usually like the puree and the whole tomatoes. Tablespoon of Worcestershire, tablespoon of Dijon mustard or regular mustard, tablespoon of Texas Pete. You can leave it out if you don't want to. In beef broth. And over here, one of the main things about Brunswick stew is the corn and the lima beans. Brunswick stew normally does not have potatoes. And one reason is usually there's so much stew, and a lot of it's left over, and potatoes don't really carry over too well to me. So if you want to add potatoes because you're going to eat your Brunswick stew that evening, I say add them. If not, or you can add them if you want to anyway, but if not, I would leave the potatoes out. It's just not one of the things that's normally in Brunswick stew. Now I'm putting 3 cloves of garlic in it right here, and let it cook about a minute with the onions before I put anything else in. I don't add my garlic until the onions have gotten a little bit translucent, because garlic will burn. So the first thing we're going to add is our tomato puree. And the other one is whole tomatoes. I love whole tomatoes in this because of the real thick juice and broth. As you stir it, the tomatoes will break up. And as tradition, ketchup. You think you wouldn't need ketchup with all those tomatoes, but it's always been in it. Now I'm going to use 1 bag of lima beans, and this is actually a 12-ounce bag. That's traditionally in it. And 1 can of super sweet, 1 bag of super sweet corn. And tablespoon of Worcestershire. I think I'm gonna put, it's also a can of, you can use chicken broth, beef broth, you can use a homemade broth if you have it. It just needs some sort of liquid, and I went with for the beef this time. And this may be the only one I have to add. Okay, now is the Worcestershire, a tablespoon of Worcestershire. Tablespoon of Texas Pete. Now, Texas Pete is not really hot, it just gives it a good flavor, but you don't have to put it in here if you don't want to. A tablespoon of, I just got the Grey Poupon. If you want to just put regular mustard, if you want it, if you don't want to even put it, you don't have to, but the grain, oh, goodness. I'd say that's about a tablespoon. Okay, let me stir this. And tablespoon of salt. Now that seems like a whole lot of salt, but I can assure you that you will be adding more, because there's a lot of onions and tomatoes that just naturally need salt. Okay, so now we're adding our meat. This is 2 cups of turkey. I saved it from Thanksgiving. 2 cups of beef. And actually, it's round steak. 2 cups of barbecue. And since it wasn't very much barbecue, I put kielbasa in it, about a cup of kielbasa. And I think that's all for right now. And we'll stir it up. This needs to go, and I think I'm gonna have to put a little bit more beef broth in here. Now this needs to go for at least an hour. So we're gonna let it cook good and come right back. I will put about a half of this, just save it. Well, our soup is ready. It's gone for an hour. I'm going to get a taste of it, and if you're not ready to eat, just put it on very low again and let it cook. They say the longer you cook it, the better it is. I've never let it get past much an hour, but the next day I know it's awfully good. So it's I try not to make a big pot of soup, but what do you do? But it'll be gone by tomorrow. This is actually a very good recipe, and everybody makes it around Christmas, so it's about that time where Christmas was several weeks ago, but we've got something to eat from Christmas. Well, now I have to tell you that I had to add more salt, which I thought I would have to do. I didn't put any more broth in it, but the salt, it had to be. Oh yeah, yes. It's wonderful. Now I've got a pan of cornbread in the oven. And so you can eat the cornbread or hard bread or crackers, anything you want to. But it's well worth inviting the family over to eat. So it's been a good day. Be sure and subscribe and ring that bell. Take care of yourself. Remember the joy. And remember other people today. And we'll see you soon.